Hey everyone, welcome to Wild Breakaway with Tom Chorske. I'm Audra Martin. Last time out, the Minnesota Wild had a nice 6-goal performance. Unfortunately, that road offense did not seem to follow them back here to home ice. Only 1 goal here against the visiting Islanders, who take game 1 of the season series 3-1. The Wild had an opportunity. They had the lead there into the third period, but 3 unanswered goals in the final frame, the difference here this afternoon.
Yeah, I think a couple things at play. The New York Islanders, ever since Barry Trotz arrived and Lou Lamoriello at the GM, they've turned their team towards a real defensive model and pride themselves on defense, and so they don't give up much offensively for their opponents anyway. And they had lost some games recently, and this is a club that's had a lot of success and already had a lot of wins. So they were coming in here looking for a win. So they're hard to score against, and they were hungry for a win. And the Wild allowed them to hang around a little bit too long with only a 1-goal lead, and they started throwing pucks at the net. And finally, a few of them trickled past Devin Dubnyk, and that was the difference.
It was. So it was Ryan Donato with the lone goal of the night for the Minnesota Wild. It was his 8th of the season. Assists by Ryan Suter and Joel Eriksson Ek. It's a tough loss, but it is only the 3rd regulation loss of the Minnesota Wild on home ice. Neither team able to get it done on the man advantage this afternoon. Let's hear from the head coach about a game that was a tough loss despite some solid individual efforts for Minnesota.
You're not going to play great every night as a team or as an individual, and some guys struggled, some guys played really good. I thought Kevin Fiala was exceptional tonight, just couldn't score, but that being said, that's when you got a lead going into the third period in this league, you're supposed to win.
So game 2 of the 4-game homestand is Austin Matthews and the Toronto Maple Leafs coming to town on New Year's Eve. So the Wild will look to bring in the new year with 2 points in hand. Game 1 of the season series went to the Toronto Maple Leafs back in October when the Leafs had Mike Babcock manning the bench. Now they have a different head coach, and ever since, they've been a pretty impressive squad. They sit 2nd in the division. They come to town having picked up points in 9 of their last 10 games.
Yeah, they've got some really high-powered offensive players in Austin Matthews, as you saw there, and Mitch Marner and Jonathan Tavares and William Nylander, and these guys can really get her going offensively. So the Wild will have to shut them down or try to contain them and stay out of the penalty box, and then go after their defensemen and do some of that offensive zone possession and cycling that we saw them do tonight, which I think will be really effective against the Toronto defensive core, who can be had. They got to finish a few more chances that they had tonight. The Wild had some chances to finish, and they just missed the net on a couple of occasions, a couple pipes, and then they missed a couple rebounds.
Yeah, well, we'll see if they can get that offense clicking again here in front of the home crowd, just in time to welcome in 2020. We hope that you will join us for a New Year's Eve edition of Wild Live starting at 5:30. And until then, for Tom Chorske, I'm Audra Martin. Thanks for joining us on another edition of Wild Breakaway.